Media Masterminds, Legend Pop, Mr. Benny Rose. Benny Rose on his iPhone, iPad, computer, something. How you doing?
A little bit of everything.
We've had some difficulty getting the show rolling tonight, so there may be some issues that we have yet to encounter. We've encountered everything else. Today's just been a day from hell, it seems like.
And it started at the retail, right?
I didn't go to the
With
retail
the
today.
not the retail, just
Hey,
retail in general.
yes, retail in general really fucked me today. I wanted to pick up the Arkham Knight season pass that we've talked about on the show for a discount at Target, and two Targets on Staten Island both don't know, don't have, or anything with this. They can't even tell me it's sold out. They just have no recollection of it, no knowledge of where it would be, won't provide me with any alternative or rain check. So they really like to fuck me in the badass.
Batusi.
Benny. Benny
Batusi.
is signaling a
Oh, I
finger.
made sure I made sure audio for it. That's your Batushi.
Oh, okay. Tushi. Yes, Batushi.
Tushi. Batushi. Tushi.
So we're back to our usual format for this week with the entertainment and video games segments. No guests. Again, another week, just me and Mr. Rose back to the original team, if you will. Uh, Maybe try to get a co-hosts to show up in the next couple episodes, but between some, Benny has a show coming up that he's going to talk about, and then I have my birthday, and then I'm going away on vacation. It may be difficult for the next show or two to have some guests on, but Benny is
Happy
going.
birthday to you.
Benny, why don't you talk about the show you're going to this coming weekend, which starts on what, the 27th?
Friday.
Oh, 26th then.
Correct.
Okay.
I will be attending Too Many Games at Oaks, Pennsylvania Convention Center at the Greater Philly Expo. We'll be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday with Adam Soltis of A Soltis Art Creations and also co-creator, co-founder.
Soltis.
Take. Are you correcting me when I was right to begin with?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Your turtle prick soup. You totally threw me off my game.
So I'm sorry.
uh, yeah, we'll both be there representing the About That webcomic. I'll be there representing Media Masterminds as well as Gaming Age. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of stuff planned throughout the weekend. There's some video game cover bands that are playing throughout the weekend. Some that I'm really excited to see that I've been a fan of for a while. One of them is Brental Floss. Some people know him as the guy that does video game music with lyrics. He'll be performing on Friday. We'll also be getting a video game burlesque show Friday night, which is pretty hot.
Bow,
So
chicka, bow, bow.
get some video game tassels. I'm totally cool with that. We,
They're
we
gonna be
missed
like
that last year.
they're gonna be like pixelated tassels.
I'll take it. And I'll get a pixelated boner, so it works out. But yeah,
Leisure Suit
it's gonna be cool.
Rose.
That's it. But the best part of the show is I'm actually looking forward to Itzy Creates, developer behind Bloodstain, Mighty Number Nine, is going to be at the show. They're going to be doing a panel as well as like a signing and stuff. So I'm hoping to meet up with them, talk to them a little bit, try to get an interview in there for a combo of our show as well as Gaming Age. I think it'll be really cool. Ask them some questions about the crowdfund, what the future entails, the team other than Bloodstained and Mighty Number Nine, and what they've done in the past. Because I've been a fan of a lot of the games that they've done in the past. They did a lot of the portable. They did the Mega Man ZX Advent games. They did the Mega Man Zero games as well. So it'll be pretty cool. Looking forward to it. And yeah, we'll recap that stuff next week. If we come across anything, maybe any other developers that might be there, or there's actually going to be some cool retro gaming stuff there that we'll probably mention next week. Guys are going to be releasing like indie titles on like NES cartridges and stuff at this show, which is pretty cool.
There was someone I follow on YouTube. I don't recall the username now, but he's working with someone that's making a retro console that's going to be using cartridges again. I'm intrigued to see if they're going to be at the show. It's not out yet, and they bought like the patent for the Jaguar body, the system body, and they'll be using cartridges, not Jaguar games or anything, no Jaguar chipset, but they bought like the body design of the Jaguar, the patent for it, so they could make a new home-based console cartridge-based system. So I'm intrigued. I mean, that show seems like the ideal home for something like that to show up.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not too far from our area, one, and two, if they're, far in development with it, if it's not concept, or, if they have some working concepts that they can display, I agree with you. It'd be a great show for that.
Right.
Because there's a lot of companies, last year, there's a lot of game companies that focus on NES, the Retron series. There's a company called Stone Age Gamer. They're actually sponsoring the show. They're going to have a table there, and they're actually going to be doing some stuff for Dreamcast. Like they're actually selling a mod chip for the first time that actually now allows the Dreamcast to not read discs. It'll read USB. So you can connect it on a hard drive, which is pretty cool.
But the Dreamcast didn't have a USB port.
Correct. So it's going to definitely involve soldering. I'm guessing the network port.
That's what I was going to say.
Utilize, swap that out with the motherboard and stuff like that.
On kind of a side note from that, not to go too far off track, but did you see that the GameStop retro stuff launched? The GameStop's selling of the classic stuff.
Yeah, dog shit taco. That's gonna be my word from now on.
Did you notice that the Dreamcast system is up there, and I think they're only asking for like $50 for it, which is actually pretty reasonable.
It's one of the only reasonable prices they have on their website. Like everything is outrageous, and it's been a big issue, and a lot of people have been complaining about it. They have games going up in the $100 range that, even eBay and Amazon merchants aren't really selling stuff that price. The other big thing too is you got to take the credibility of GameStop. When it comes to pre-owned games online, they don't have a lot of credibility with verifying the condition of something.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even bother ordering through them, but I just was glancing at the prices.
Yeah, no, I saw some cool stuff. Like I was looking more in the PlayStation 1 range. There was a couple of games I was interested in that I used to have and, got rid of over the time. One of them was called Galarians, and they had it on there for $15, which I thought was pretty reasonable. I think there was a 2 or 3 disc game when it came out. But, then I was looking at stuff that, when I just looked at the high price point, tons of games for like $90, $100.
Yeah. Conker's Bad Fur Day was like $80, I think, right? It was like $79.99.
Yeah,
and it's coming with
it's just a cartridge.
Yeah, and it's coming with the rare replay in another month, 2 months, less than 2 months.
Right, for $30.
Yep.
Go figure. Yeah.
So let's jump in. Do you know where you guys are going to be? Your position, so if people want to actually go see you at the show.
I don't have an official because they are working some final table placements and stuff, and we may end up having a scenario change. So I don't know, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, you could follow Benny if he tweets at It's Benny Rose. Maybe he'll have some further information, and also on Facebook, obviously. So let's jump into entertainment news. We have, this segment for news should primarily just be considered like superhero or comic book news because we don't really dive too much into anything else outside of that. But we have a new Spider-Man. He's been cast. It's a younger kid. I believe he's just turned 19. His name is Tom Holland, and I think that's what the whole world will be asking. He isn't from anything that I know, and apparently he's going to be Spider-Man. He'll be in Civil War first, and then they also announced the director for the new Spider-Man reboot, another reboot. Indie filmmaker, similar to what Mark Webb was. I forgot his name. I think his name is John Watt. I really don't have an opinion on him either. What do you think of this kid that they cast?
I don't have enough knowledge on him as well. I know he was in the movie The Impossible, but other than that, he has apparently been tweeting or Instagramming like videos of him doing like flips and prepping. But
Yes.
apparently he wowed the studios, and apparently he had an edge over a lot of the other characters, actors that went for it. So it leads me to believe that probably did his homework, which would be good.
Oh, IGN, I believe. I don't know if they got it from someone else, but most likely they did. They reported that he screen tested with Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. So,
Right.
I mean, I guess they wanted to see how the chemistry would be between the three of them.
No, it totally makes sense, and I think that when it comes to a project like this, you might as well, get their opinion on it as well, because at the end of the day, they're trying to make this cinematic universe even tighter niche, and what better way to do that but than getting the veterans that kind of holding the franchise together. I'm not saying the other guys aren't doing it, but especially with this movie being so focused on the two of them, I think
Right.
that it sucks that from what I'm hearing, it's going to be simply a cameo. So, to have all this hype and waiting on everything, I think the kid's going to be filming for maybe a week. So who knows if we're going to get the Joker from Suicide Squad that you thought we were going to get with the 5 seconds,
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
then
he's not going to
so
be in much. Maybe 5 minutes. Maybe, I don't know.
right.
Maybe after credits.
That would be stupid. But, I guess I can't ask for much. At the end of the day, we found out. You know, it's cool that they're kind of taking a chance on somebody that's not popular, but at the end of the day, they are going with kind of the spectacular Spider-Man universe. Him being in high school, him focusing, being staying in high school while he is, transitioning into Spider-Man and being childish, and so I you could see that that's where they were going when they doing the animated series. I know that that's not you know supremely relevant to the Marvel universe with the cinematic, but they did start designing the characters to look more and more like their
Well,
counterparts from the movies too. So
also by going unknown, they can pay this kid next to nothing for probably
right,
a multi-film deal.
true.
I wanted to just quickly talk about something else I didn't actually put on the notes, but now I'm remembering it. Was I listened to a Kevin Smith podcast where it's called Fat Man on Batman. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yes.
So I just picked it back up. I haven't listened to it for a while, and he used to just talk Batman on it, and now it seems like he talks a little bit of everything. But I listened to this past week's show, and he talked about some of the speculation for Batman versus Superman and the Aquaman and Flash cameos. So this is speculation. I mean, take it with a grain of salt if it's spoilers or not. I won't go too into it, but apparently both of those characters will more be seen via video footage and not so much like as a star in the movie. So more like a
Okay.
cameo. And allegedly, the Flash appearance, while him being cast as a different actor than the Flash TV show, you won't see his face. So if Flash season 2 maybe does astronomical, they can still bring the Flash from the TV show into the Flash movie universe and get rid of the actor that they initially signed to be the Flash.
Do you think that that's something that DC would actually consider versus everybody hoping?
I think that's everybody's hope, and I don't think DC will do it. What I think is a good alternative to that is if, without spoiling anything from the first season of The Flash, if we do something with the Speed Force in the second season where we can see another Flash, they can bring the actor in that's going to be in the movie universe as the Flash and tie him into the TV show somehow, where he could be a Flash from a different dimension through the Speed Force. And I think that can kind of appease people on both ends.
At the same time, they try to stress the fact that we're not getting a cohesive universe between the television series that
Right.
are on there plus the movies. So I think that's ultimately wishful thinking too. It sucks because I think that's a really good idea, and that could be a way to stab gently.
Well,
So
I mean, not only would it make people happy, but it would make people that aren't following that movie so much, and maybe they're a little bit under the radar, but they're big fans of the TV show, maybe give them interest in seeing something from the movie universe because they like the TV show so much.
True. I think that totally makes sense. I mean, we can hope DC, get your shit together.
Yeah,
Not that hard.
we shall see. Well, I'll skip to the other DC story and jump back to the one I had in the format before that. Rumors came out on June 24th, which is at the time of recording of this podcast, that the next Batman film, solo Batman film, will be directed by Ben Affleck, which is something that we had discussed before, but now it looks to be pretty certain. A certain rumor, I guess you could call it, which kind of contradicts each other.
What do you think? You excited if it's true? Like we've said before.
Yeah, I mean, I knew there had to be something in the deal between for Ben Affleck to sign on to be Batman anyway, because he's been primarily doing his own thing and directing his own films. So I'm sure he did some stuff. Obviously, he did it for money, but I'm sure he had some selfish reasons on top of that to work into his contract in order to be Batman. So
right.
I don't know which way he'll take it. I'm assuming he'll take it the way Nolan had. I don't think he's going to go goofy or go, because his movies that he directs are pretty gritty.
Right, like Argo.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, too, it's going to have to be cohesive to whatever we're getting next year, between the two movies, because I guess, within the cinematic universe, I'm sure that they're telling everybody, hey, you guys got to follow this kind of criteria.
Yeah.
They've mentioned that the movie's going to be serious. There's really going to be minimal joking and stuff like that. So.
Right, but I mean, he can still probably have his pick of the villain besides the Joker, unless they want the Joker in the movie, because the other movies don't look like they're having any Batman villain, so he could kind of probably tailor the script to what he wants. I mean, unless they're forcing him to tie in a cameo or something like that, I'm sure he wouldn't get too scrutinized.
Right. Well, I mean, what was the rumor slated for 2017, right?
I believe it was 2018.
18. Okay.
Right.
So it's a ways off, just like everything else.
Yeah. I would like to see Mr. Freeze in a more realistic point of view. It's never been done outside of the video games. True.
And the game has done a pretty good job, I would think.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. Time will tell. But I think it would be in good hands, if he ends up, taking the mantle for that. We still got to see what he's got, when it goes to the movie next year.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. We really got to see how the Batman Superman movie plays out first.
Yep, we'll be able to go see that before everybody else.
Yeah, hopefully our emails don't get lost in the shuffle from going to that free screening. Never got anything from them.
It better not, because your wife has very good handwriting. I think it was pretty clear.
Last bit of news was apparent rumor, which is something I think we also talked about. I mean, any fanboy could kind of make up this stuff anyway. Is Fox is eyeing up a X-Men Fantastic Four crossover for this date was even crazier. It's 2020, which is when the new Crash Bandicoot will be coming out also for all of our listeners. Holiday 2020 Crash Bandicoot. But X-Men Fantastic Four crossover, I'm sure it's totally predicated on the Fantastic Four movie this coming August doing very well, which is to be seen. But what do you think of a Fantastic Four X-Men crossover? We don't know which X-Men it would be also.
Well, I have a feeling it's going to be, probably the 80s.
Yeah, but the current Fantastic
Apocalypse style.
The Fantastic Four movie takes place in the present.
Well, I'm saying in the sense of more the lineup, not necessarily the actors.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, he's got Jubilee in there, stuff like that. Like not what we've seen already. Plus, at that point, we're gonna have another Wolverine. We might even have another Wolverine after that Wolverine.
Maybe, yeah, yeah, you're right. I don't think the movie's gonna even end up happening because I don't think Fantastic Four is gonna do well at all.
Right. I think it'll do decent. just because it's a Marvel movie, and I think that the fact that it has a little more of a serious tone, so I think that people are going to go in with high hopes.
I think
You know,
also, but just playing with say this is actually happening. X-Men Fantastic Four, who's the villain?
oh man,
That's what I'm saying. There's no credible villain. You're using the credible villain now for X-Men because Apocalypse could have been a team up
right,
boss, a team up villain to use.
right. I don't know,
I
man.
mean, you could use Galactus, but it has to be done properly.
Yeah, we don't want to get a fart cloud again. We don't need that. That was just
That's what essentially killed that franchise.
fart cloud. Because I mean, Silver Surfer wasn't that bad, but the movie itself was just ugh.
Yeah, it was
a
bad.
side order of ugh, and it's on TV, and like I pay the remote control to change the channel for me. I'm broke.
There was also a rumor that Wolverine is shooting for X-Men Wolverine, but Hugh Jackman is shooting for X-Men Apocalypse in the next week or so.
But he is Wolverine.
That's true. He is Wolverine. So that he is shooting for Apocalypse in the next week or so. So he had came out and said that the next time he plays Wolverine was the last time, which is now we're kind of figuring that is not the case because allegedly he shot for Deadpool. He shot a scene for Deadpool. Now he's shooting the scene for X-Men Apocalypse, and he's already signed on for the third Wolverine movie. So,
which is also rumored to be based on the Old Man Logan storyline.
Which is a rumor, which would be very, very cool, and I don't see it happening.
Because isn't that a very gritty, dark,
very gruesome, and very gruesome.
Yeah.
So unless
I don't think they would do that. Right?
I don't think they would, and it would really have to be if Deadpool made a ton of money, and it would probably need to make like Iron Man or Captain America money, not even Man of Steel money or something like that.
Got it.
So, any other news you have, or that's about it?
That's about it.
All right, let's go into what we're watching. We mentioned it last week, Jurassic World. We didn't go into detail on it because it was our video game. Dun, 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 dun. We didn't go into detail because it was our E3 show. So we were not going to go into spoilers anyway because the movie's only out 2 weeks. But it's made a shit ton of money. It's got a lot of money, baby. Well, what did you think?
It's broken just about every record, I would say, right?
Yes.
Even Spielberg's own older records, even though I know he didn't direct the movie. Like it's beaten just about everything, if not everything, right?
Well, yeah, it hasn't beaten all time, but it could potentially.
I thought it was good. I have some friends on the social media that have not been too kind to it, but you know, look, we're in a world where this year makes no sense. We're living like the year the Jurassic Park came out, the first one. We're living that year again this year, if you think about it. You know, between having Jurassic Park, having Terminator, you know, having a Bush, having a Clinton running for president, it just makes no sense. But other than the CG, you know, I knew that we weren't going to get traditional practical effects. I think studios are long gone in the ways of making that a priority.
I thought the CG looked very good in the movie.
It did look good, but I'm just saying in the sense of, you know, when you have a movie like that, you know, it's great when you decide to see more of the practical effects. You know, I think there might have been maybe 2 scenes that I caught that might have been practical. You know, I think everything else was CG.
Right.
You know, correct? But I thought it was good.
I really enjoyed the film, and to the people that really poo-poo on it, I mean, it's a movie where you're talking about a theme park with dinosaurs in it. It's a summer blockbuster popcorn film. It's not The Godfather. You go into the movie with the expectations, just like in Transformers, that it's going to be giant robots fighting each other. People are they put on their critic hat, and then it's like, oh, this is not good. This is like the movie is just to sit there, have fun, and watch some giant dinosaurs cause havoc.
Well, I think people still take the gene splicing thing, to a level that doesn't need to be. I think we were all concerned when we first heard it, but at the end of the day, I don't feel that it was used incorrectly.
No, I thought they
I think it
handled
fit.
everything well. I thought the worst part of the movie was the character development. I didn't think no one really cared for the characters, and maybe they didn't have time to develop them any deeper than what they did. But that didn't detract from the movie, and I had a blast seeing it. It's one of the first movies in a long time that I'm considering to go see in the movie theater again, because it's a fun movie to watch in the movie theater in a giant screen with loud surround sound. I laughed through the movie at scenes that weren't comedic, but I had a blast watching it.
Right. Well, to the people that poo-pooed on it, fuck you.
I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, obviously, but I think it's
not on this show. Not on this show.
well, clearly not here, especially not the people that work at Target that couldn't find my season pass.
Pieces of shit.
But I enjoyed it,
Target.
and I really would like to probably see it again. I don't know if my schedule is going to permit it within the next couple weeks, but if it's still in the theaters after that, I think I'm going to end up having to go see it again. Oh! I think there's a Mega Man. A Mega Man. Oh, it's Street Fighter. I was going to say there's a new boss approaching.
Oh, goodness. I like my Cleveland Brown laugh I just did.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
So I also saw Pixar's Inside Out, which you have not yet seen, right, Mr. Rose?
My cartoon counterpart, Xander, has seen it. I have not.
Oh, okay. So you have not actually seen the movie.
Correct.
I very much recommend the film. I really enjoyed it. The short in the beginning was good. It was actually a musical short, one of the first for Pixar. I really had a great time with it, and it made me wonder. I spoke with my wife Julie about it, and I said, "Well, this just shows that they don't need to churn out all these sequels all the time. That there's still original ideas and Pixar is so creative that they did such a great job with it. It has me. I love dinosaurs, obviously, we just mentioned in the last segment, but the last movie rather. That it has my hopes up so much for this Good Dinosaur that comes out this November from Pixar. Also, it's the first year that we're getting 2 Pixar movies in the same year ever.
Holy shit!
Holy fucking shit! It's
impressive.
A dinosaur.
It's impressive.
But it was a really good film. I don't think it's a children's film. I think it might not mean much to a kid that's probably under 6 or 7. And it's an emotional film. I really enjoyed it. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be good, but I really liked it.
Cool.
And I also finished up Game of Thrones. I watched 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. I watched 2 seasons of Silicon Valley.
Where's the wife? I need to hear the song.
She's not here to sing the Game of Thrones song. We'll save it for another show. But now it's time to start something new. I was thinking like True Detective or Breaking Bad or something like that. A friend of mine started watching Sons of Anarchy, and he said that was good also.
Cool.
Anything you've been watching since the E3 episode?
Yeah, I actually just jumped into a show that you watched. I'm catching up on it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Because season 2 popped up on Netflix. I watched season 1. I thought it was very slow in the beginning and wasn't really keeping my attention. The end when it tied into Captain America, I thought that worked pretty well. I think I'm maybe 5 or 6 episodes into season 2. It's pretty cool. Different tone. I guess it's keeping me interested with Coulson and Sky. I know that I already know some of the stuff that happened, so I'm not going to really be surprised. But it was cool to see the Absorbing Man. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I'm watching at this moment because work has been crazy since I got back from vacation, and E3 flooded us last week, so I haven't really had much time to watch anything else.
All right, pretty cool. I forgot what I was gonna just say, but we'll move on into the Pops pick. So I just browsed a list of movies that were potentially going to be picks for a while, and this one was one that uh I wanted to pick as a certain date approached, so it'll make a little bit more sense once I go into it. And since I'm not sure if we're going to be switching with the next two shows, and I'll be doing video games and you'll be doing the movies, I'm going to pick it now.
Okay.
But it's a movie from 2001 that is actually being brought back as a series for Netflix, a prequel series for Netflix at the end of July.
Okay.
The movie's called Wet Hot American Summer. Have you ever seen it?
Nope.
It's a comedy. It has a huge cast.
Sounds
And
dirty.
it's not. It's about camp counselors at the last day of camp.
Okay.
So the Netflix show, which will include the full cast, is going to be actually a prequel. So it'll be the first day of camp.
Interesting.
So isn't that funny though? The movie came out in 2001. This show got made in 2015, and all these actors are going to look even older now, and it's supposed to take place before the movie.
That's so weird.
I think it's kind of funny because it's in the movie they're supposed to be like teenagers and stuff, and it's all actors that are older anyway. So it's kind of a goof in itself.
Gotcha.
So the movie, I have it up on my iPad here. I'm gonna run through some of the cast because it has a ton of people in it. Janine Garofalo, David Hyde Pierce, who's from Frasier,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Michael Ian Black, Paul Rudd, Christopher Maloney, Molly Shannon, Ken Marino, Amy Poehler, Bradley Cooper, and more. It's a huge cast.
Interesting.
And they got the entire cast to come in for the Netflix show. Whether or not how much Bradley Cooper will be on it or Paul Rudd is to be seen, but I think it's really awesome that they got all of those people that have now went on to much greater, bigger, and better things to come back. And the movie is really funny.
Well, it's good when you have a loyal fan base that drives, actors and actresses to come back to something that they did before that they may or may not have been, a fan of. I remember like your show, Arrested Development, when that came back. It wasn't as big of a gap in time, but to see the fans kind of bring something like that back. I don't know if that happened here, but
Right.
it's definitely
I
cool
don't think
to
there
see
is
stuff
there,
like that.
I don't think there was as big a push like Arrested Development was, and Arrested Development, not to go too crazy into it, didn't really pay. I enjoyed the fourth season just to get more of it, but it didn't really pay off because a lot of the actors were bigger, as they are from this movie, this now TV show, and they couldn't get them all to record during the same time. So they had to do a lot of green screen, and they had to kind of adapt the show differently because they couldn't get the full cast together beyond a couple days. So it
Gotcha.
kind of resulted in a different feel to the show and a different theming to the show. But there is speculation that they're going to do a fifth season, which one of the producers came and said, and they said that the full cast will be back for that for Arrested Development fans, and they'll be back to a proper shooting schedule, which is I'm super ecstatic for if it actually happens.
Cool.
One other cast member I forgot to mention that you'll like is H. John Benjamin
Nice.
is in the movie very briefly, but it's only a voiceover and it's hysterical.
Cool.
The
I
movie
love
is obviously this would be utterly stupid if Netflix was creating the show and didn't have the movie on it. So the movie is available on Netflix to watch. It's only an hour and a half. It's a goofy throwback 80s kind of funny movie, even though it was filmed in 2001. I would say to check it out. It's worth a watch, especially with the show coming on the end of July.
What was the name of the movie again?
Wet Hot American Summer.
Got it. All right.
A little different from my usual picks, but that's the pick for the week.
Puppy power. Coolio. So now we move on to the realm of video games. We did have Chuck full of E3 overload last week. Ultimately the news is going to be a little lighter this week because it's going to be more on just catching up on maybe something we didn't talk about a lot about or at all. And then, a couple little things like that. Then we'll talk again what we're playing. And then you'll get the Many Roses. Thorn. So, do you want to start off with some news or you want me to jump in on this?
Why don't you start because I didn't have too much here, and we can go from there.
Cool. Well, this show will definitely be talking, and we have already about Batman. So, Batman Arkham Knight has finally been released. Has come out this week. Multiple console release as well as PC,
Dun,
and
dun, 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 dun.
along with the announcement of the music, we have the news that the PC version of the game is pretty much not working for a lot of users. A lot of problems with it, a lot of crashing,
uh,
uh,
just just
affecting on Steam.
news breaking just now that Warner Brothers issues apology and yanks the pull of the Batman PC version. So they're
Look at
offering a
that.
apology, refunds, and a pledge to fix the problems.
Alrighty. So, from what we gathered, I think some of it is not official, but it looks like the PC port of the game was outsourced by Rocksteady, so the team did not do the port themselves. And it looks like the staff that did the port was a total of maybe 12 team members. So when you think about a game on the scale of Arkham Knight and what it entails of just a console version, to have 12 guys or team members putting a game like this together on the PC, I would think that they'd want to have a little more attention to detail, especially with the amount of money Warner Brothers just put into marketing the game and just Rocksteady's track record. So obviously, it's become a huge fiasco, and the game was highlighted on the main page of Steam. And what's the hell so funny?
Your image is freezing, and it was like your lips, like kissy, like a
Great,
kissy face.
awesome.
Looked
With
like you were
that,
ready. You were ready to go into a bathroom with a glory hole.
oh boy, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so I completely lost my train of thought, but ultimately, Rocksteady has been, getting a lot of shit for what has happened,
And they just
and they
basically
are
passed the buck.
right. And at the end of the day, to have a game come out like this, be such a blockbuster title, it was highlighted on Steam's front page. That was since removed before the game was officially taken off the page because the reviews were just so abysmal. And I only know of one user that had minimal issues with the PC version, which was CBD, actually from the CAG team. So to have so many people play the PC version and just hear so many issues with it,
Well,
it's disheartening to see a game like that,
the
get affected.
the funny thing is that the PC one was up for pre-order for so much cheaper. So a lot of people probably cancel their console-based ones to get the one for the PC if they have a powerful enough PC to play it. And now they're really assed out as far as that is concerned. So that
Agreed.
might have been an issue from the start that Warner Brothers or someone, was told to push the PC for cheaper because it wasn't coming out as good as the console-based versions.
Well, that lack of communication is obviously, going to definitely affect the customer loyalty on a game like that. But at the end of the day, for most PC ports in general, whether they're ported by the same developer or not, they're usually less expensive to begin with. But this, to me, ties more into the realm of pre-orders, and I think it's going to scare some users to taking a chance on a game. You're putting your money down, you're getting your incentives, you're kind of suckering into getting the game first, and it's kind of like gaming hardware or any type of hardware. You're bound to have hiccups. I think with most console games, we haven't had that many games launch really with a lot of issues. I think the last game I remember was Assassin's Creed that came out last year, which pretty much the game just didn't work. You had like your character's face ended up looking like the Crypt Keeper at one point. Like, just the models were just not working. The game just had a lot of glitches.
And they ended up giving the season pass away for free for that game. So maybe Warner Brothers will end up doing the same thing. Not for us, obviously, because we don't have the issue. But
because yeah, but I think that they need to make sure that they're on top of everything, and it's kind of a mixed bag. It's do they Do we fault the team that was outsourced, or do we fault Rocksteady for outsourcing, being irresponsible, for putting such a burden on such a small team? I don't remember the name of the team. I apologize, but I don't know if they have a huge track record.
They don't deserve
So
a plug anyway.
no, I'm just saying in the sense of Rocksteady has credibility. They have a track record. You should be doing your job yourself. I get that sometimes ports have to be outsourced and stuff, but I feel like PC is one of the last ones. If it was a freaking Vita version, you know, port that, outsource that to whoever you want. Outsource it to Dell. Dell will make you a game. I just think that when you're doing PC, I don't play PC games, but obviously there's a huge realm of gamers that prefer to play games on PC. And if I had the disposable income, I'll use the term, to constantly upgrade a PC every week, a game comes out, I would probably do that. But to have a game like this come out and it be better on the consoles, it's usually not the case. So
yeah, but we don't mind because we're playing on the consoles anyway.
Right, and we're playing it on the definitive console too.
The PlayStation 4.
Yeah, we don't play it on Xbox One.
Better on PlayStation.
Anybody I see, posting pictures with a green box, I just end up blocking them, and then I send Facebook a cease and desist and get them off my page. Sorry, John.
I was trying to get John on for a show and it hasn't worked out, so we'll save that one for another show.
Well, he hates us.
He can't hate me. I got him into the Xbox preview program so he could play the backwards compatible titles, but we'll talk about that a little bit after.
The only good games that work on the Xbox One? Got it. Moving on.
Well, what do you think about the potential rumor now that the next Rocksteady game will be Superman?
I think that would be a very unique twist on the formula that they've done. I don't know if the style of play that the Batman games play as would fit in the Superman world, but
right.
I can see the city working out that way. Obviously, Metropolis isn't going to be as dark, but there's supposedly some Superman Easter eggs in the game. I've come across like one specific little Easter egg that wasn't Superman specific, but I see it possible. I think that it would be them kind of reinventing the wheel and taking something that hasn't worked, for every other game, and they'll probably throw an Easter egg in there for you with flying rings and stuff.
That would be great. I'll buy it just for that.
What do you think?
I think it could be potentially good. If they just rework the entire engine to be the same game with Superman, I don't think they need to really tweak the engine and enhance things, make taller buildings and stuff like that also.
Well, yeah. At the same time, he's not going to be able to move as slow as Batman does. Batman moves in a proximity to the way he's designed. He's wearing this heavy armor essentially.
Well, I would be happier if they just made a Justice League game, since this one has the switching of the characters between Nightwing and Robin and Catwoman, I believe, also at some point in the game. Why not just make a Justice League where you have Batman, which is already all mapped out, the controls, Superman, Flash, maybe Wonder Woman? That's good enough for me.
I think you're asking for too much, but it definitely would be cool, especially because it hasn't been done right in a long time.
Well, they've quickly become like a AAA studio, Rocksteady. So they're gonna be building a game that has a lot of hype and is gonna need to have a lot of features in it.
Well, I think the flying mechanic is going to be something that they're going to essentially want to build from the ground up. And
they have to. Yeah.
I think that they'll make something that nobody's done. I think that'll be cool. Who knows? It depends on what route they're going to take too. If they're going to be able to use original content, or if they're going to end up being forced to do something within the movie universe. With the movie coming out, which I'm kind of thankful we haven't really gotten many movie license games in a couple of years.
Yeah, since Spider-Man, right? Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, which was crap.
So the first one was better than the second one was.
Well, I meant the second one. The second one was just, I was like pulling teeth to just get through it, just to see some of the costumes at the end, and it was just a waste. But
Well,
we'll see what happens. It's too
to
early to
mention with the
tell.
costumes, it's for everyone listening that doesn't know already, which is pretty cool, is the previous Arkham games, you had to beat the game in order to change your skin costume. Now this game, the Batmobile, you don't need to wait to finish the game. You could actually change it in the main menu before you even go into the game to edit the skins and quit out of the game or change them. Which is I think it's pretty cool because a lot of people didn't want to go back in after they beat the game already in order to use the skins.
Which I never did. So I always had all these skins, and it was a waste because I
Right.
never got to see them.
On the downside, the skins that launch with the game aren't anything great because I think they blew their wad on the previous games and they don't want to carry over those old skins, which is pretty stupid in my opinion. Because some of the older ones are really cool. They had the original animated series, Batman Beyond, a bunch of different the Dark Knight Returns. They had a bunch of different cool Batman skins.
Agreed.
So hopefully they'll carry them over because the Adam West Batman is in this one, which was also in Origins, I believe. They used the 60s style Batman.
Right.
One other thing I noticed when I was playing Batman a little bit before was that my Mortal Kombat went to an update to download. So I think the Predator is launching soon. Ed Boon made a post about showing the Predator with the Carl Weathers skin for Jax. So have you gone back and played any Mortal Kombat?
Not since the last time you were here with Jason.
So you never even played with Tanya?
Nope, don't care.
Yeah, it's sad.
I heard this update too ended up adding more brutalities for some characters.
I also saw that was pretty cool. But I'm almost at the stage where I think if the trade-in value is pretty good, I might just get rid of it and wait for the Game of the Year special edition that includes all the DLC, guys. If the trade-in value is decent for it at this point,
probably $20.
I would need to be more than that, I think, for me to get rid of it.
I think you'd be better off making it a paperweight.
I don't know if it's worth making it a paperweight, though.
I don't know. I'm very disappointed because I was really excited for the game, and the fact is, I've played it the least out of any Mortal Kombat game I've ever played. And I used to be a huge fan, and the DLC, even though I bought the season pass, I have no desire to even play Predator when he comes in.
I'll be over to play as him.
Well, you can. It'll be here waiting for you. I don't know. There's too much out there to play, and there's nothing that gives me a reason to take the disc off my shelf and put it back in.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
Sad.
Very
well,
sad.
At least you might be able to play Mortal Kombat 9 backwards compatible on your Xbox One.
Which I have it for, so that would work out.
So you'll have a next gen system to play an old gen game. Congratulations, Microsoft, you win.
you win the console wars these days.
All your console belong to us.
Yeah, all your Perfect Dark Zero belong to us.
Any other bits you wanted to talk about in the news?
Just E3 leftovers. I feel like I neglected to talk about Mirror's Edge. I'm genuinely super excited for the game. It is a game that I have been waiting for, and it kind of got lost in translation. I think I might have brought it up briefly, but I think the game looks gorgeous, and I hope that, we don't have to wait super long to play it.
They didn't give a date for it?
2016, like everything else.
Oh, boy. Well,
hashtag E3 2016.
Anything else?
Anything Nintendo? I got some of my Japanese amiibo figures in, and Amazon destroyed my boxes.
Amiibo!
Cocksuckers. I'll show you. Well, my fat ass go in front of the computer.
Well, I just wanted to mention also that they had a Transformer convention, because I'm a huge Transformer fan, if it didn't come off on the previous shows. But they have a Transformer convention every year called BotCon, where they usually have like a video game convention would be. But this year, it seemed like they had a little bit more news from actual Hasbro and stuff like that. So they had the new game that's coming out, Devastation, there, and were talking with the producer, and they said that the confirmed count of playable characters is not accurate. So there will be more than 5 playable Autobots, and most likely there'll be DLC playable characters also, which it got me pretty excited. I mean, I don't want to have to pay for a bunch of characters a la Mortal Kombat, but for Transformers, I probably will. It's one of those franchises.
You get that Devastation season pass. season 1 pass. It'll be Gen 1 season 1.
Gen 1 with G2 color skins.
Yep.
For
And
Transformer fans out there that other people have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
And you get the bots that look like sharks and shit. You get all the terrible stuff. And you get the headmasters.
Yes, I love the headmasters. Brainstorm. Brainwave.
So, yeah. Like I said, all I had was I'm hating on Amazon right now because they destroyed my amiibo imports. Like, like I collect these, and the fact that the box is destroyed, I'm gonna have to open it. I'm very disappointed with them. So, fuck you, Amazon.
Fuck you, Amazon and Target.
Yeah, I usually like Amazon, but not today. Fuck yourself.
If you write them a complaint, maybe you'll get something out of it, and then you'll have to rebuttal and take back the complaint.
Not at all, because they're not going to watch this. Fuck them.
Anyway. So we're ready to go into what we're playing?
Yeah, which you kind of said already.
So, Batman Arkham Knight. We're probably around the same point, both of us. I think I played a little longer because I was kind of messing around with what I could so far. I played maybe a little over an hour into the game, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Cool. Same here. I'm maybe gonna try to get in like a half hour this evening. If not, I probably won't be able to play it till after the convention. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to it also tonight. A lot of talk with the Batmobile. Friends of the show, friend that was on the show, Joe, Dr. Ad Hoc. He was on the show, and he's not happy with the Batmobile controls. I don't know how far he is into the game, and some of my own personal friends that I've seen on Facebook and social media complaining about the Batmobile. And I don't really, I mean, again, I'm not very far into it, but I don't really have a problem with it thus far. I think it controls how you would expect it to control. The turning it into the tank mode being like the L trigger throws me off because I'm used to that being the brake.
Yes,
for drive.
You have to press square for the brake.
Right, for driving games, unless you could switch that around, maybe. But it's always throwing me off. So when I'm trying to cut around corners, and it's trying to turn into the tank mode. Yeah. But outside of that, I'm enjoying it, and driving fast through the city, and the way the music changes, it feels like you're Batman. So I don't have a problem with it.
I just hope that the game's not saturated and dependent on the Batmobile, because the city is so much larger, since we're not in one small map. When you look at the scale, it's a lot bigger than the previous games. So I think that the reason that they're doing that is because they want you to feel comfortable being able to do it and not have to, traverse through just rooftops after rooftop after rooftop. So.
Yeah, because then essentially it's the same game that we got the last two. So they needed to change it up a little bit. I mean, if you want to travel from rooftop to rooftop, you still kind of can, but I'm sure there's certain things that you have to do via the car.
Agreed.
What do you think of the game?
I'm enjoying it. Like I said, I played very little. It's sad because I look at my PS3 and Arkham Origins is in there, and I've played that for maybe a total of 15 minutes. Every time I put it on, I have no desire to play it. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I know that Rocksteady didn't make it, but it just doesn't keep me interested. I'm not a huge Arkham game fan as far as like super pumped to play it, because I played the other ones, but I played them very casually. For me to pick it up and just was playing it and I want to play it more, it goes to show that they got what they got going, and they continued the trend of keeping the fans interested in playing the game. So
I still enjoyed Origins, but I'm a huge Batman fan, so I mean I know friends that are Batman fans also, not as big as I am, or more so some that are Batman fans of the game, and then some that are Batman fans of the comics, and they either didn't even play Origins or they played halfway through it and then just stopped playing it.
Got it. Yeah, I mean,
so
I'll probably eventually go into it, but I don't know if I will anytime soon.
I can suspect that even if Rocksteady works on a different franchise next, that Warner Brothers might do the same thing with the next Batman game and license out not license it, but use the engine on a different studio like Warner Brothers Montreal and make another Batman game that way.
That's true.
Which I really don't totally have a problem with it because I like playing as Batman and I like the Batman universe. So the more Batman, the better for me.
Fair enough. I mean, as long as we get Batmite in the next game, I'll be fine.
That I don't think will ever happen, but we'll hold out hope.
Yeah, and then you get the DLC for season 3, and then you get Plastic Man, and then I'm good for the rest of my life.
Good. I'll be good for the rest of my life.
Yes, indeed.
So I've also picked up. I was like in the Game of Thrones mode, and I picked up the Game of Thrones Telltale game on the Xbox One because they were offering the first episode of it for free, and then that also discounted the season pass since I already had the first one. So I purchased that. I didn't start it yet, but I also picked up Rise, which was a launch title for the Xbox One, for I think $10 or $11 for a digital code of, I guess it came packed in with something, maybe the system or something.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through the game. It's extremely repetitive, but it's a fun little game if you're in that mindset of like gladiator battles and stuff like that.
Which I'm not, so you enjoy that. I bought it at launch. You played it here, and that's the last time I saw it.
Well, I figured for $10 I could play through it and run through it, kind of like what I picked up Skylander Swap Force for $5, so I could just kind of run through it.
You know what? Just to shit on that game for a second.
Okay.
It goes back a little bit to news, but with E3 they talked about Skylanders, including 2 Nintendo characters for their versions of the game. I went on Amazon.com today and I saw that the pre-orders are up for the game themselves, the kits, and it looks like the Wii U version comes with the Donkey Kong, and the Wii version and the 3DS version come with Bowser.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I was under I was under the impression they would be 2 separate packs for Wii U, like you could get a Bowser version or a Donkey Kong version, which is still stupid because you can't buy them separately.
Right. As of right now on their website, the Wii U version is the only one that comes with Donkey Kong.
That's stupid.
So yeah, right in the butthole again.
Well,
third time's a charm.
Maybe in 2 years from now, I'll be able to pick them up for $5 at GameStop.
Well, if they were used, you could have got them today at GameStop. If you buy 3 used figures, you get them for 50% off each.
Oh.
I snagged a bunch of amiibos today for $5.
Oh, they have used amiibos at GameStop?
Yeah.
You had to go to the store, or you went to you did it online?
No, I did it in the store.
Oh, which ones did you pick up?
I picked up a bunch for Adam for the table because he created. I don't know if you've seen those displays. It's like the baseball bat holders.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are using them for amiibos, and he actually set one up custom with LEDs. So he wants to have it at the table, and he wanted to have some figures that were not his mods. So I grabbed a bunch. They had Toon Link, they had Samus, Sonic, Luigi from Mario Party, Mega Man.
Wow, that's a good amount.
Yeah. They had, they had a lot of Wave 1. They had Donkey Kong still. They had Bowser. They had both Peaches.
And they ended up being like $5 each.
Yep.
Wow.
And this also goes for all the Skylander figures right now, as well as the Disney Infinity figures. I was considering picking up a Venom, and the guy accidentally didn't ring me up. So I was just like, it's not meant to be. But they had a Venom, and then they had like a Nova.
So and how long does this sale run? Maybe I'll head over to the store.
Maybe the rest of the week.
Oh,
it started on Monday.
Interesting.
Yeah, you have to buy three of any of the interactive used figures, and they all become 50% off.
And can you mix and match?
Yes.
Oh, this is like a free ad for GameStop.
Yeah, fuck you, GameStop.
Fuck you, especially Captain Rudy.
Oh boy, turtle prick soup himself.
Captain, my captain. Last thing I was playing, then we'll go into if you've been playing anything else, because I think you have some stuff that you want to discuss, especially with the Gaming Age reviews that you've been doing. I got into the preview program thanks to buddy Steven. The backwards compatibility, I tried it out. Tried it out with Banjo-Kazooie, and I tried it out with the Perfect Dark the Perfect Dark Nintendo 64 re-release, and it works very, very, very well. You can upload your saves to the cloud from the 360. It'll automatically download and sync them, and it essentially makes it a emulated 360 that it thinks you're playing a 360, and the games play, and they actually look a little bit sharper. The resolution looks like it may be up-resed a little bit, and it, for the little that I played of them, played flawlessly. So I'm very excited to see what else they put on there.
Yeah, I'd be really excited if, when, because right now the top rated game in demand is Red Dead Redemption, which I never played.
Yeah.
So give me a reason to play that.
And they also said recently, I believe as of the 23rd of June, that DLC will work with the titles, but that also falls under the approval of the publisher. Correct. So Red Dead Redemption gets approved, they have to ask Rockstar if the Undead Nightmares could be also approved, which I don't see an issue at all.
Right. Because ultimately it would be, multiple disc versions. That would be the other thing. If it's going to be just the game, because they have the Game of the Year version.
Right.
So that would be tough. I guess we'll see.
And you haven't tried it, right?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, I had Super Meat Boy, Perfect Dark, what else I have? I had a couple other ones. I don't remember.
And what was your experience with it?
It was good. Flawless, for what it was. I feel like anybody else that has emulated their previous consoles, you could tell. I couldn't tell. I thought that these were just on the live,
right. I'm excited.
Arcade.
I'm excited to have them and download them on my hard drive that I could just play whenever I want on a system that I'm playing a little bit more frequently than obviously my 360.
Agreed. 100%.
What else have you been playing? Maybe some of the games that you reviewed for Gaming Age, or just playing casually, or maybe even starting on a review for something.
Right now, I'm not slated to do anything with Gaming Age at the moment. There's 2 games coming out next week that I haven't heard back from any of the publishers yet, and I can't discuss. But as of what I've done recently, I did a review for Payday 2 for Xbox One, which is pretty much a re-release, for the current gen consoles of Payday 2. But this one was called the Crime Wave Edition. That pretty much came with all the previous DLC. Pretty much, your standard game of Payday, bank heists, stuff like that. 4-player online co-op, which is ultimately the best feature for the game. If you're interested in checking out my review, you can go to gaming-age.com. And it's a cool game, but it's not a game that you can play by yourself. I played by myself. The AI is really, really bad. And you know me, I don't play well with others. Online, you're one of the only people I do play games with, which we can discuss.
We forgot to put that in. We forgot to put that in the notes, but we should definitely mention that because that was a really cool experience. It actually worked very well.
Right. It was just one other game that 2 others. I'm playing Tales of Borderlands. Episode 2, 3 was just released, so I'm playing a little catch up on that. I'm enjoying it. I play it more than I play the actual Borderlands games. And the last one I did a review that'll be out probably within the next couple of days. Dr. Mario Miracle Cure for the 3DS, which was a pretty cool game too. And if you played those in the past, it's exactly what you think it is.
It's exactly the same, probably, right?
It's Dr. Mario with Dr. Luigi, pretty much, which they had on the WiiWare, like on the Wii U and stuff like that. So it's definitely what you expect with it. There's no 3D. I thought it was a little weird. You have a 3DS game, and it's weird because when you pick it on the option menu, it's in 3D, and then when you go into it, it's not. So, little silly thing to nitpick about. But the game plays well. Music's still in place. If you're a fan of the past, it plays pretty cool. It was my first time actually playing Dr. Luigi. A little frustrating, but definitely unique to the style with a little L-shaped hill.
Right.
But that's it. Other than which we did, which was the
PlayStation
4.
I forgot to mention because it's also what I've been playing is I've been having a lot of fun with it, much more fun than I had with Rise or some of the backwards compatibility. Was Lego Jurassic World, which includes all of the Jurassic Park movies and Jurassic World I'm into the Lost World movie now. I beat the first movie, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. It's just like I said, I'm a sucker for the Lego games. It's a lot more puzzles than the other games are because it's not really villains to fight in it, human wise. But I'm having a blast with it. So Benny was on during the weekend, and I had mentioned to him, I said, let's try the share play on the PlayStation 4 because he purchased the Lego Jurassic World, but didn't open it, right?
Correct.
So I said, well, we could try and play it without you having it. We'll set up a share play. We'll work off of my system, and we could play cooperatively because they don't have online co-op for it. There must be some huge issue with the Lego games and online co-op because I believe one title of all of their Lego games have had online co-op. I think it was the Star Wars Complete Saga. It was the only one that ever had online co-op. So this way we could actually play together, and essentially the PlayStation Share feature, for those that don't know, it's basically as if the person is sitting on your couch with you. So you can give them your controller, you can say they can take a second controller, and then your signal is broadcast to them, your screen, and their controller is sent to your system, and it, does all the moving as if that person was sitting next to you on the couch. So we started it up. My wife was watching some streaming Netflix in the other room, and I have my PlayStation 4 hooked up via Wi-Fi. So it said the internet connection was what they considered low, so you might experience issues with it. So we started up anyway just to give it a go, and we played almost a full level. We played for maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We both had stuff to do, and it played flawlessly. No, Benny was on the other end. I was at home with it, so I wouldn't really experience any lag or anything like that. But he said, he could speak for himself, but it played flawless.
Yeah, I couldn't. If somebody walked into our room, they would think that I was playing a game solo. Not even realize that we're playing online co-op. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. We've never really knocked PlayStation when it comes to features like that. They're usually on their game with that, but it's something that's existed for a little bit. We just never tried it, and I thought that it was really cool. I look forward to having that option down the line because lately with our schedules conflicting, that's a better way for us to play games down the line. When the game is applicable, of course.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, and it's something that I'd look to do more often, like you said. And it's something that now it's got me mentioning it to other people. I mentioned to my brother-in-law, and told him about it. I said when a sports title comes out or something that maybe he buys, the MLB or the NHL, and I don't really buy them, as does Mike, who was formerly on the show. We could play together still, and I don't have to own a copy of the game. Same thing goes for like a Madden football. It works for the Lego game because there's no online play, and you both don't have to have the disc. So essentially, we could try out things. And what's cool is if it's a single player experience, like Alien Isolation or something, you could just let them take control over the first player spot, and they could just play, and you could just sit there and watch, or go do something else in your house while the system is running.
Right, and what's cool about that too, if you think about it, just in the sense of logic, is let's say you're playing a game you're stuck at, or vice versa. To have somebody jump in there
Very
help
true.
you.
Very true.
I think that's a very clever feature that maybe a lot of people aren't even utilizing because you don't hear about it often. So it could be
which is actually a good thing,
right?
Because if people were utilizing it too much, the publishers might limit it as far as what you can do with it, which is actually probably pretty good.
Well, you did mention that the time frame, you do get an hour before you lose the connectivity, but obviously you can
just reset it up.
Right.
Well,
no, definitely worth trying if you haven't tried it already.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's about it for what we're playing, right?
Yep.
Let's go into the Kissed by Benny Rose Thorn Pricks.
All right. I picked something that we've talked a lot about in the past, remasters.
Oh, boy.
I picked a remaster more so out of respect for the original. And the reason I did that is because of the time in my life playing, the original versus now. So I've decided to choose a game that's in my top 5 of all time. And that's Kingdom Hearts 2. And I chose HD 2.5. And the
Okay.
reason that I chose 2.5 is because 2.5 is the definitive version, and not because it was released on PS3. It's because it's the remix that Japan got, even on PlayStation 2. But we got high res graphics, we got more cinematic storyline, we got more bosses that you can fight, and we got more keyblades and stuff like that.
I played Kingdom Hearts. I loved Kingdom Hearts 2. I played both Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And I've never played the 2.5. I own it. I never played it. Picked it up just to be a completionist. But outside of the Keyblades and the bosses, any additional worlds? No, right?
There's no additional worlds, but there are cinematics that were included um, in the final mix, essentially, of part two that we didn't get here in the U.S. until now. So, for somebody like me that's junky for the story, it was really cool to finally see some of that stuff without subtitles. Because, I was that guy that was going on YouTube and, looking at the stuff. Because, at the time when 2 came out, 2 was, I don't know if you're familiar with the formula, but, playing the game on Brave mode would allow you to see the true ending in most of the games. And the true ending is usually a precursor / teaser for a game that's coming.
Right.
So,
Except the teaser for number 3 looks nothing like what it's looking like actually now.
What do you mean for at the end of 2?
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about there really wasn't. No, well,
There wasn't anything set yet at that point either way.
no. He is get the timelines right. Part 2, the secret ending. Spoiler alert! If you haven't played it already, shoot yourself. Unless you're just not a fan, which I don't respect you. But no, it's fine. At the end of 2, the cinematic ends up being for Birth by Sleep. So, which was the Keyblade War.
Right.
So, the technical game in the timeline that's at the end of where we're like going into 3 is the 3DS one, believe it or not, Dream Drop Distance.
Right, that's what I was going to say, because that makes the most sense. You switch between Roxas and Sora for that game,
No,
right?
Kairi. Not Kairi.
Kairi and
Riku, sorry.
Riku and Sora. Right.
When they're basically testing to be Keyblade Masters. So it's a weird game that, I wouldn't have thought would have been canon, but once you get through the cinematic portions of it, it makes a little more sense because they're older. They're going into these dream sequences when they're younger. I'm trailing off, but at the end of the day, I picked 2 because 2 gave us the most story out of all the games that filled a lot of voids that some of the other games, even when you go play them later, you don't get a lot of questions answered, I feel.
Yeah.
Birth by Sleep is a game that I have to go back and play because I played it once on the PSP.
But isn't the Birth by Sleep on the 2.5?
Right, and that's the next
which
step
is cool. That's just a really cool way to play it. Which makes me wish that they had some form of backwards compatibility for the PS4 with the 3, because I'd like to play those, but I don't really want to go back to my PS3 to play them.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you. There's rumors that we're going to potentially get an HD.
Yeah.
HD.
I mean, it makes sense. Double HD. Double Rainbow HD full-on edition.
Get off. And I'll buy it like every other version. I am that guy that purchased this game multiple times, including the Square Enix limited collector's edition, which only 1,000 were made. 5,000, sorry. But yeah, 2 is it's an awesome game. I love Kingdom Hearts as a series. I can't get into 1 no matter how hard I try because I don't like Sora at the age.
Yeah.
I don't like his personality, and I don't like the flow of the storyline and stuff like that. I enjoyed the worlds and stuff, but the game just paces at a different level. Plus, Sora has grown into being a Keyblade Master by having the forms and having all these different abilities when he got older. So
it's funny is I've beaten both games also, and I actually think I like 1 better.
Okay.
I totally get what you're saying. The progression in 1, and I thought 2 is a lot easier than 1 was, though.
It was, especially because you're getting your character's just a lot more stronger. You have a lot more going for you. Sora had different keyblades, but that's kind of you had a couple of summons, but you didn't have the drive forms and stuff and the limit forms, so that really changes the game. Plus, you had the ability to turn into a Heartless at a point, if you change into your forms too much. But for me too, like I'm a big Axel fan, so having Axel in the game, I'm looking forward to what they do with his character, because he was originally slated to die, and they ended up, just from the fans, really jumping on and liking the character. We're going to get more of him down the line, but probably not his nobody form. So that's pretty much why I picked the game. It's near and dear to me, like we always say. It's why we pick these titles.
All right.
But yeah,
it's a good pick. I give the pop stamp of approval on it also. It's a rare title that you picked that we both have played through and are both fans of the franchise.
Sounds good, coolio. Fuck you.
Cool. Fuck you. So I think
fucking Amazon.
I think that about wraps us up. We should like to thank everyone for listening, and we didn't have any technical issues or anything, so we actually made it through the show pretty flawlessly. Anything to add before we go?
No, just keep supporting, the people that keep coming back. Thank you. Welcome to anybody that's listening for the first time. And, stay tuned for, hopefully we'll have some cool stuff to bring and talk about next week after Too Many Games. I'm hoping to get some of these interviews in, which I think would be really cool to talk about on the show.
Yeah.
So let's
absolutely. I just wanted to throw in there that if you watch the show on YouTube, or you don't, you can look up the show on YouTube via just type in Media Masterminds into the search and it will come up. But I also started doing some unboxing videos of some of the mystery boxes, like the Marvel Collector Core mystery box or the Nerd Box or Loot Crate. So keep on the lookout for those. They'll be on the YouTube channel also for those of you that want to check into that. And myself and Benny were actually discussing possibilities of some gaming, doing some unboxing for gaming or any other mystery boxes that Benny might get. So we'll expand on that a little bit and have some unboxings to put up on YouTube.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. So that's about it. Take care.
Wow.